Now, the widely travelled and vastly experienced Nigerian talking drummer Araola has just been appointed the governor of Lagos State Chapter of Performing Musicians Association of Nigeria, recognized as the first female talking drummer on the world stage. Araola has now joined us to share some of her experience and what this new assignment means to her. Good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, very good. So, your appointment as governor of PMAN in Lagos, how did that come about?
This came about just last week when I offered to renew my membership. I was told that I needed to take over the leadership. Apparently, PMAN in Lagos has been inactive, so to speak. So I felt like, okay, this is something I could do. I have the passion for this, and I'm glad I took up the offer.
All right, I'm glad you mentioned that PMAN in Lagos was moribund, and we're hoping that you actually revive that, because the question I would ask is, what's the role of PMAN in the ecosystem of performing musicians in Nigeria? Because at a certain time, when Charlie Boy was the president of PMAN, it was quite popular. Also, when Okoroji was in charge, quite contentious. Ever since then, it's been up and down, hot and cold. Talk to us about this.
If you ask me, I think this has been the reason for the inactivity of PMAN, not just in Lagos, but at the national level. There are different fractions, and they've been in and out of court, which is why a lot of us musicians probably stayed away at the time, not knowing which party to belong to. But the new president, Priti Okafor, has been doing quite a lot. And to see to the fact that, hey, okay, he could be leaving office anytime soon, and he needs to put the house in order. So him asking of me to be appointed as one, basically my job is to restructure, reorganize, and put a structure in place so that at some point there will be election where the leadership will be elected. But as for now, being the new governor, I know that PMAN is back. Of course, Lagos is the hub of entertainment in Nigeria. We all know that. And most of the artists in Nigeria, from different parts of Nigeria, all troop down to Lagos to be part of the entertainment industry in Lagos. So there's no reason why PMAN should not be proactive.
Hopefully, with new leadership, we should see a revitalization of that as well. So, following the outcry over Mohbad's death, it's been going on for some time now, an outpouring of support as well. So, what are your concerns regarding relationships between music recording labels and performing artists in Nigeria, you think?
This is something that is very close to home. I was one artist that experienced that firsthand. I actually still have the petition, of course, in the police station. I was very happy to meet with Senator Abo, where we paid a condolence visit to the late Mohbad. Now, this is something that should never have happened in the first place, because if you ask me, I didn't know who Mohbad was until he passed on. I knew his music, but I thought it was sung by the other artists. I never knew he was the one. Now, having gotten to know about him, I learned he cried out for a year plus. That for me was a deep cry for help that should have been heeded. We should be talking about protests for anti-bullying and all of that, not protests for justice, if everyone that knew had listened. So in my discussion with the senator, I had mentioned to him, and I'm urging him, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Tourism and Creative Economy, Senator Ishako Abo, and I'm calling on him and the presidency, to sponsor a bill for the creation of Creative Economy Commission. The commission will be responsible for dispute resolution between artists and record labels, amongst other things. If a commission of this nature was in place, a Mohbad would have had an institution behind him. And it wouldn't have been a Mohbad against an individual or record label. It would have been the record label or whoever against the institution that was standing for him. So I believe that, and I urge him to please make sure on our behalf, heed our cry for this commission to be put in place for all artists.
But Ara, you're a veteran in this space, so
yes.
This question you would understand.
Okay.
Which is, in the music industry, yes. It's a cartel. Most of the time, these guys are thick as thieves, as they say. And you know this, that they would always protect their own. and they would always look after the interests of their own, as against the welfare of the artists, the interest of the artists, the promotion of the artists. All they are after is protecting their own. And that is why a lot of people said that Mohbad cried out for a long time. They knew things like this were happening, but because they didn't want to cross the red line, they decided to stay back. It was when the public decided to cry out that several big wigs within the industry had the courage, reluctantly, to speak up and started trying to come to the side of Mohbad, almost speaking with one mouth, but they know from the look of things, their heart is not with this late gentleman and what people are crying for at the moment. So when you're talking about this kind of bill, you and I know that implementation might not be feasible. Talk to us about that.
For me, first and foremost, when you mentioned crossing the red line, artists, bigwigs in the society, joining forces to cry out for justice for Mohbad. Everyone still crossed the line, even in his death. Why didn't they cross the line before he passed?
Not because they didn't want to offend. They didn't want to offend the powers that be.
Let me take you up on that.
Yes.
But they are offending the powers that be right now. Why do you think
because they do not have any choice. Because they know that if they do not speak out right now, they will be blacklisted, like Naira Marley has been blacklisted, Sam Larry has been blacklisted. They know that they do not have any other choice than to speak out, because silence is almost consent. So they've decided that rather than not speak out and face the wrath of the people, because at the end of the day, the consumers are always in charge, because they listen to the music, they stream the music, they are the ones that actually consume this music. Absolutely. So they have decided to reluctantly show support.
Well, if you say reluctantly, I would let me paint the picture of what I went through before I come to that. I was on a record label for 6 years that signed me, 4 years, then 2 years return, which I did. I left the record label apparently with nothing. I was given an official record that was taken from me. So I left the country, I came back, I started doing my thing. Guess what the record label did? They brought another artist, a lookalike, gave her my look, my everything, my name, and started performing. Now, when President Macron came to Nigeria at the shrine, that wasn't me on stage. That was the artist performing with my picture on the screen, on the multimedia. I went into depression. I became sick. I was down, but I had a good support system in my family and my band, what Mohbad didn't have, most likely. Now, I cried out. I did most of the things that this young chap did. Where I would tilt to your side a bit, or people being afraid to step on toes and having their hearts in their, what also happened to me. It's just unfortunate that this young man had to die. I know that if we all come together with the same vein, with the same energy that we're putting into crying for justice for this young man, the bill would definitely come to stay. The entire world, it's not about Nigeria anymore. It's about the entire globe. It's a global thing now. Everyone is crying for justice for this young man.
Yes.
You understand? And I know for sure the Nigerian police will not fail us at the end of the day, because all eyes on us. So at the end of the day, they are going to do that. I met Senator Abo for the first time on that day, and he created an impression of somebody who means well and is ready to, hit the ground running, and he definitely is going to do something. I think I would want to. I'm a very positive person, and I want to believe that perhaps this young man's death has opened all of our eyes and hearts to what is happening in the entertainment industry, and this bill will definitely come to stay. And it's not to say that it will end there. Every one of us, including the media, you have a major role to play, and I know that you're going to help us and support us. Thank you.
All right. One would expect by now there should be an expedited nature towards that bill coming into fruition.
Okay.
It shouldn't be a scenario where, okay, fine, we talk about it, there's been more rhetorics, but when it comes, as he said, implementation is the issue. Hopefully, Senator Abo
yes.
Will be, well, I'm not saying pestered, but at least pressured to a large extent that he actually walks the walk and not just talk about it. So to a large extent, how is your organization and you as well
Okay.
going about this to get this, implemented, as it were?
Yes, it's definitely going to be implemented with my office and as an artist, a performing artist. And I have the support of other agencies like Amman, and who are also working with us. Everyone is coming together, all hands on deck. This is not going to be just the talk only. It's going to be the talk and the walk. And I know that the Senator Abel, would make sure that this bill is passed. We are all working together. We have you behind us, the media, so we know you're watching as well.
All right, briefly, before we actually go, my own question is this.
Yeah.
This has been a watershed moment. The death of Mohbad has been a huge watershed moment for the industry.
Right.
Do you think record execs will learn their lessons and probably tread with caution?
Let's hope so.
I like the optimism.
But the optimism, it's more optimism outwardly, but internally, you do not sound that optimistic.
I am, really. I am. I tell you, I am.
Okay.
But instead, I like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
So let's hope so. I'm sure I'm going to work with a lot of them.
All right.
I'm a leader that will come to you. I won't wait for you to come. And I'm already reaching out to everyone. Trust me.
All right. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, our talking drama entertainer.
Thank you.
And of course, the new governor of PMAN in Lagos. We wish you a successful tenure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.